Hey, what's going on, sports fans? This is Sean with BostonandBasketball.com here with our co-host Matthew Reyna. What's going on, Matthew?
Just ready to talk some hoops with you and then watch the Minnesota and Denver game.
Bro, you know what? Listen, one of the things we're going to talk about is the Knicks versus Hawks. But do you know what the score is right now? Bro, it was like 83-36 at halftime.
No,
83 points. And right now, we're in the third quarter with 2 minutes 45. It's 111-57. Bro,
they folded.
this is a complete blowout. But we're gonna talk about it in a little bit. For all y'all sticking around, checking this out. Look, we got 27 on there. It's popping right now. Stream is going good, and we're definitely going to get into it, y'all. Let
They
me tell
bent the
y'all. Listen,
knee. Come
drop
on, the
your
Hawks bent
comment.
the knee, man.
Yeah, yeah.
They did the thing every team does when they're not good enough on game 6 and they just bend the knee and give up. They're down by 54.
Bro, it's crazy. It doesn't even make sense what's happening.
They've
But
looked
let's
so good for like different parts of this series. I can't believe they're down by 54. That's you got to have some heart, man.
Yeah. Well, we're going to jump right into it because, we had a whole thing planned. I'm going to go into it anyway, and then we'll just roll right in this. Our first topic was going to be Jalen Brunson the other night dropped 39 on the Hawks in game 5, and the Knicks look like the best team in the East right now. And the way they're playing now, and yeah, we know it's against the Hawks and all that, but they looking really good. And I was going to originally ask you, does it look like they can close it out tonight? But there's no shadow of a doubt. You can 111-57. You can sit everybody else down. You don't even have to worry about it. But anyway, let's talk about how Brunson looked the other day. He dropped 39 points, 8 assists, 15 of 23 shooting. He looked surgical and definitely doing good tonight. OG is the one that's actually scoring most of the points tonight. OG has 17 and 10. Cat has 16, 14 rebounds, 6 assists. The Knicks combined the 2 days before this, the 2 games combined have 45 points, so they did good. Man,
Man,
that pick and roll combo by Brunson and Towns is just dismantling Atlanta's defense. My question to you, right, is anybody scaring Boston in the East right now besides New York? Because New York, Boston, and them, or Orlando, you don't know who's going to win what these days. It's crazy, right? But what do you think about the way the Knicks are playing? And we know it's a limited Hawks team, right? And maybe they're just not playoff ready. But the way they're executing and playing well with that 1-2 punch and OG on the side and them helping out, I mean, what do you think?
Man, I see that the Knicks still got their starters in right now. Come on, Mike
Yeah,
Brown. I
yeah,
mean, I get like you don't want to have the rust and all that, but I'm looking
right.
at it right now. They still got Cade in, they still got Brunson in.
Yep.
Everybody that's in the game right now is a rotation piece, so they got to take care of that. But this is actually a pretty big win. The Hawks look pretty good for large parts of this series. There were games where McCollum, looked like Blazers McCollum. He really looked unstoppable on the dribble
Mm-hmm.
drive.
Yep.
Jalen Johnson, just a monster, and just at different points of this series has dominated really.
Yeah.
Okongwu was a guy I wasn't too familiar with. When you see the big fella grabbing rebounds on one side, then hitting 3-pointers on the other side, I mean,
Yep.
you can't underestimate the team they're beating. The team they're beating is pretty good. And anytime you take a team behind the woodshed like this and beat them they're up 55 points right now. And and Philly's up on Boston still, right now. So the Pistons are down in the series to the Magic. So right now, even though it went 6, really you could say the Knicks are the only team taking care of business. Now,
Yeah.
do I think they're a threat to beat the Celtics? No, not right now. Not right now, I
Right.
don't. But it remains to be seen because they can come out gangbusters in game 1. And if they could punch the Celtics in the mouth, and we're assuming that the Celtics are going to get past Philly, I think at some point,
Right.
whether it's tonight or whether it's the next game, I think they
Yeah.
will. But Cleveland and Toronto have kind of taken turns not impressing me. Besides Colin Murray Boyles, who this is a cat I hadn't heard too much about before these playoffs. I love what he's given Toronto. Obviously, there's a lot of cats on Cleveland that are good. I think they're going to pull that game out. Maybe in game 6, it could be this type of game like the Knicks are having where
Right.
You just take their heart. You say, from the beginning of the game, you say, let's rev it up. Let's get the A game. Let's avoid the game 7.
Right.
So, I mean, if there is a threat to the Celtics in the East, I think we've learned that maybe it's not Detroit. Maybe it is New York, but I still think the Celtics would be a prohibitive favorite there.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think so too. The way they're playing, it's like the cylinders are firing right now, right? I still don't really know how Atlanta was able to squeak 2 wins out of it, but they did. Everybody has a bad day here and there. But Matthew, when New York closes tonight, they get to play the winner of the Cavs versus Raptors, the winner in round 2, right? And right now, the Cavs are up 3-2 after Wednesday, right? At first, we're all in our group chat. If y'all don't know, we had a group chat. Hopefully, Eric, our other guy that we be chopping up with, hopefully he can get on here tonight. But with that being said, was that you or Eric? Somebody was talking about the James Harden curse, right? Whatever it was, that curse got broken last night because they end up winning. But if it ended up being the Cavaliers, Knicks versus Cavs, how long do you think that game, or how many rounds do you think they'll go? 5, 6, 7?
That potentially could go 7.
Okay.
I mean, the Cavs have a real team, but you don't like the way they're kind of like struggling against Toronto, who, came in laboring into the postseason. Like Toronto got off to a hot start this year. Then kind of they were leaking a little bit of oil down the stretch, and at different points have found their momentum against the Cavaliers. I don't know if you were watching the game last night, Sean, but the Raptors were still in that game until the very end. If not for a couple like really boneheaded mistakes, I mean, Cleveland was,
and that's exactly what it was. It was the mistakes. That's what it was.
And so I don't know, like Cleveland has the talent to compete with anybody, but it's always with those James Harden teams. They get to the postseason, they start underachieving a little, things start going wrong. There starts being turnovers and bad moments. And I feel like he's so settled in at this point that shouldn't happen. But last night you were seeing it happen. You were seeing some pretty big fourth quarter turnovers, some pretty big fourth quarter missed shots. And really, if it wasn't for the Raptors just at the end of the game could not hit the broadside of the barn door, as they say. I think I have that saying wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there was at one point where Jamal Shed had like 3 opportunities to hit a wide open corner 3. He shot it. Right. He missed. He got the offensive rebound. He missed it again. Then I think he moved to the other side of the court. They found him again after another offensive rebound, and he missed all 3 of them. I mean, it just wasn't their night. But if not for missed shots, I think the Raptors very easily could have won that game. And so it remains to be seen because they've still got one more in Toronto. Toronto has one of the best home court advantages in the NBA. Toronto's an incredible city, incredible people that love the Raptors. So I don't think they're going to fold at home like the Hawks did today. So I think the Raptors are a live dog. I might pick the Raptors in game 6, but I do think Cleveland emerges from that series. And I think they're a moderate threat to the Celtics, but Cleveland could get a free ride too. People forget about this. That's the 4-5 game, if I'm not mistaken. Cleveland and Toronto. Let me make sure I got that right. Yeah, that's the 4-5 game. So if the Magic end up winning in the 1-8 series versus Detroit, Cleveland could get to play the Magic in the second round. So that's that might be a cakewalk to the conference championship. So definitely watch out for Cleveland.
Gotcha. All right, we're going to drop this real quick.
Make sure you hit the new thanks button down below to donate to our YouTube channel so we can keep bringing you fresh content.
All right, there you have it. Matthew, we're going to move on to topic number 2 we had. Anthony Edwards is still out tonight, right? For game 6 night at the Target Center. He still has that left knee bone bruise, hyperextension. He's still week to week, right? And the Wolves already lost game 5 to Denver without him. Jokic put up triple-double, 27, 12, 16, and Randall had 27, 9, and 6. DiVincenzo, he's still out from his torn Achilles. His season is over. We probably won't even see him till like next year sometime, right? Aaron Gordon's still questionable for Denver, talking about his calf tightness, and Peyton Watson out. Target Center has been a fortress all year. The Wolves crowd will be so loud tonight, right? So if Minnesota wins, they go to round 2 versus Spurs. and maybe get Ant back week 2 of that series. But if they lose game 7 in Denver Saturday, and Ant is definitely almost certainly out, right? So let me ask you this. The Wolves, did they close out tonight without Ant? Yes or no? And if they do, are they actually a real round 2 threat against Wemby and the Spurs?
I don't think so, and especially because they just got the bad news right before this game. And this worries me because we all know, anyone that listens, that I'm a huge Spurs fan. I am really rooting for these wounded Wolves to beat the Nuggets tonight, because I really see that being a cakewalk for the Spurs in the second round, because all their guards are injured. So our guards, Fox, Harper, Castle, they're gonna go crazy. But you were already asking for a lot, minus DiVincenzo and minus, of course, Ant-Man. But it just came out, I think, about an hour ago that Dosunmu, their star reserve, who dropped 43 points the other day, he's out today with a calf injury. So, so if you're going to tell me that they're going to beat the Jokic Nuggets, who, finally had some life in the last game, and they're going to do it without their best rotation backup guard, they're going to do it without DiVincenzo, and they're going to do it without their superstar Ant-Man, I'm going to tell you, Sean, that that's probably not going to happen, but I am rooting for it so heavily, because the Nuggets have been a nightmare matchup for the Spurs. They beat us the last 2 games of the regular season. It looked like they had already quit in this series. If you look at how game 4 went down and Jokic's body language, it looked like they were out to sea on this one. And I'm just appalled at the bad luck the wounded Wolves have had, because I think they were a real threat to finish this series off. But I said it after game 4. Yes, they're up 3-1, but with the injuries, they're not going to be a favorite in any of the remaining games. So you think there's 3 remaining games if they can't win, and you would think they'd be able to get one. But if you look at it game to game to game, today they're not a favorite, even though they're the home team. They weren't the favorite the other day. If it goes to a game 7, they're certainly not going to be the favorite. So I hope they can do it. I would give them about a 25% chance of beating the Nuggets tonight with all their Wolves at the vet's office right now.
Listen, I can already tell that once they roll up to San Antonio, you're going to be standing there at the team bus, hoping that they have the wheelchair lift come down, hoping that they come out with crutches. Hopefully they have the arm in the sling. Listen, I think that's your hope and prayer, that they are so beat up and banged up coming to Spurs that they can probably just throw their bench at them, huh?
That is my hope and prayer, because the way I see it, I think, everybody takes their licks in the playoffs at some point. And I really do believe Wemby's licks would come in the second round. He'd have to take them against Gobert. Gobert is an incredible defender against big men. This is Wemby's first playoffs. So I something tells me Wemby's going to have a hard time against Gobert. But if you tell me all the Timberwolves guards are out, then it's like, okay, well, you stopped Wemby. Well, get a little Fox, get a little Castle, get a little Harper, get a little bit of this. And I think we would really be able to wrap them boys up in 4 games, 5 games. But the Nuggets have been a bad matchup for us all year. And if they come with that momentum that they have, like from coming down 3-1, and they're hot and they're confident, and let's say you let them get game 1.
Yeah.
That's a risky series, boy. That's a risky series. I want to play them wounded Wolves.
Got you. All right, here we go. We're going to drop right into this.
Make sure you hit the new thanks button down below to donate to our YouTube channel so we can keep bringing you fresh content.
All right, Matthew, let's also not forget hopping into topic number 3. Man, bruh, Cade Cunningham and Paolo went at it the other day. Pistons was facing elimination down 3-1. Cade Cunningham went 45. He shot 13 of 23, 5 threes, 14 of 14 at the free throw line, 5 assists, 4 rebounds. That's a Pistons franchise record, scoring record that they have. Then Paolo Banchero, he came back and matched him with 45, of his own. 2 stars going at it, blow to blow. But the Pistons won 116-109. Cade hit a dagger jumper with 31 seconds left. The crowd was chanting MVP, MVP. Now, Magic still lead the series 3-2, right? So game 6 in Orlando Friday night at 7 is going to be on Prime. But Detroit 60-22 regular season is on the line Friday.
Game
Now,
6.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm sorry. I said game 6, right? Yeah, game 6 in Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They need road wins like right now. And Franz Wagner, he sat with the strained right calf. That was a big factor for game 6, right? So listen, when was the last time that happened, right? Two top guys dropped 45 each in a playoff game. And Matthew, does Cade he just officially announced himself as a top 10 player tonight? Or do you need to see him do this twice? Does he need another 45 to seal the deal?
He don't need another 45. I mean, he just don't need to play like he was playing at the beginning of the series, because I could tell you that Detroit crowd wasn't chanting MVP at some of them other games he was putting up. Hey, when he was shooting 6 for 26, he wasn't getting those MVP chants.
No,
but I'm gonna tell you,
wasn't.
And it might not be a big deal with Wagner out, because Banchero seems to play a little better with Wagner out. I don't know. I know all the rumor mill says them boys don't like each other too much, but yeah, it shows with Paolo's performance. But let me tell you the difference between Cade's 45 and Banchero's 45 in a 7-point game. You want to know what that is, Sean?
I'll
tell you right here. Cade from the free throw line, 14 for 14.
14, yep.
Banchero from the free throw line, 5 for 12.
That would have made a difference, wouldn't it?
7 missed free throws, 7-point game. And so, hey, if you're the star player, your team's got to be able to count on you to make free throws. What I think of is like take LeBron. LeBron has always been a mediocre free throw shooter his whole career, mostly in the low 70s, some years in the high 70s, some years in the high 60s. But come crunch time, maybe not so much now. He definitely bricked a few against the Rockets last night, but in his prime,
we needed that.
The LeBron we think about, though, you don't even have to think twice. You know he's going to step up there and knock him down. So, like, if you're Banchero and you're the star player of your team, you can't be shooting 5 for 12 on a closeout game in the playoffs. I mean, that's just, 45 points is nice, but you lose by 7. You got 7 missed free throws. I don't know about that. And there's still some concerning stuff if you're Detroit, because the problem remains the same. Like, we know Cade Cunningham's good. And you asked if he's top 10. Yeah, I think based on the regular season he had, I think if he's not top 10, he's right there crawling at it. I mean, he's right there. He probably, I don't know where exactly he came down in MVP voting, or if he even played the necessary games. I think they gave him the exception, but I'm sure he was probably 5th or 6th, which doesn't necessarily translate to being a top 10 player. But the issue is he had 45. What did everybody else do? What do you remember Jalen Duren doing the other night?
Nothing.
That's the right answer. You sitting there thinking that's the right answer. So your second All-Star disappears, just like he's disappeared the rest of the series. Because what happens if Cade takes them 23 shots, but it's like the other games where he shoots 6 for 23, 7 for 23.
Right.
Then you're right back where you started. So the Magic have done nothing in this series, particularly to impress me, even in the games they've won. I mean, some of them, both teams just been trying to lose, So some of those games, I mean, we're getting some 1990 scores with that 91 to 87 type game.
Right.
So
nobody's really barely cracking 100 but back then it's because of defense though. Now they're just breaking.
So yeah, and I think if you're the Pistons, you can definitely win this series. It's going to be tough. Game 6 in Orlando is going to be tough. But what you worry about is you win this series, then what's waiting for you on the other side? You got to play probably Cleveland. Did I get that right? Is Cleveland the 4 seed? Because I believe Cleveland is the 4 seed. And let's see. Yeah. So if you're Detroit, you're playing the winner of Cleveland and Toronto. Earlier I said that Cleveland might get a free run because they might get to play I said they might get to play Orlando, but I get it now. Because I was talking about Orlando possibly upsetting Detroit. But so if you're Detroit, you win, you get to play Cleveland. I think Cleveland would be the favorite in that series based on what we've seen from Detroit in round 1. But first things first, you got to get through the Magic. I would say they're a slight favorite, but if Cade Cunningham comes out in that first quarter and he's a 1 for 7, and then, Jalen Duren's on the back of a milk carton because no one can find him, then it's going to be problematic. I want to see Cade with like 10 points at the end of the first quarter. there's going to be signs I'm going to be looking for. If Cade has less shots than Tobias Harris, then I'll be concerned. Little things like that. Cade, go out there, be aggressive. Jalen Duren, for the life of me, give me 1-20-10 game this playoffs and make it on the game 6 on the road in Orlando to save the series.
Right. But Matthew, what do you think about, because we talked about this leading into like the play-in or going into the play-in. We talked about how the Orlando Magic, how they'll have like a good little run and then boom, drop 5 to 7 straight. Good little run, boom, drop 5 to 7 straight. Are we on that 5 to 7 straight loss right now? Are they going to go down? Can they pick up just one more win, or is it over?
Well, it don't matter if they lose 5 or 6. Right now, they can't lose 2. And I think here's what we have to remember. The Magic were one of like the coldest teams going in the playoffs. Like they were losing game after game. We were talking about this being a cakewalk.
And they barely made a play-in.
So the fact that the Pistons are going to have to go 7 no matter what to beat the Magic is a concerning sign. So, yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if the Magic completely came out and laid an egg in game 6. Now, I wouldn't have picked the Hawks to come lay an egg like they did today, but it would not surprise me if the Magic show up like Atlanta showed up today. That it just wouldn't surprise me because that team has kind of been ready to bend the knee, so to speak. It's a miracle that they've made it this far. And a lot of that has been based on the mistakes that Detroit's been making. So if Detroit can play some clean, turnover-free basketball, I think they can win game 6, bring it back home, game 7, and go to the next round where they'll probably be underdogs against Cleveland.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm looking over at now on the opposite side of that, the Knicks are winning 133 to 77. And this looks kind of crazy, right? Because 76ers are up 58-49 over Celtics. I tell you what, the Celtics, they better get it together. All right.
I'm worried about that for the Celtics because they have not looked good these last 2 or 3 games. They've really let the Sixers back in the series when it felt like I mean, you got to give a lot of credit though to that last game to Embiid. I mean, he was laboring. Well, I was watching that man out there. What I'm starting to notice with Embiid, he can barely dunk right now. I feel like because he's so banged up and so injured. I saw him wide open under the basket and just putting it off the glass. I mean, say what you want about him. Say what you want about him. He's a warrior. And to come out and give him 31 the other day, and really that opened the game up for everybody because when the big man was eating, I saw Paul George looking like Paul George getting some. I mean, Paul George started off with like 8 points. He only finished with 16, but he was getting buckets. I saw Quentin Grimes getting buckets, hitting a few big 3-pointers. And like Maxi's going to start hunting buckets if they're double teaming Embiid, or even if they just can't double team Maxi because you got the big fella out there. I mean, that was a marvelous game from Embiid. And obviously I'm not watching the game today, but I can see that it looks like a well-balanced attack right now. Right now you got Maxi with 21, Paul George with 11, and the big fella's only got 9. But I think it's just nice to have him out there because it opens up the court for everybody else.
Right. Got you. All right.
Make sure you hit the new thanks button down below to donate to our YouTube channel so we can keep bringing you fresh content.
All right, Matthew, we're going to hit your favorite. Topic number 4, Marcus Smart.
Marcus Smart.
And Luke Kennard, they both got hit with like 60,000 in fines total, right? Marcus Smart got hit with 35,000, Luke Kennard 25,000, both for ripping the officiating after the Lakers game 4 loss. Now, Smart called out a specific cause in his post game, and the league moved fast to hit him with them fines. So the Lakers lost game 5 at home Wednesday, 99-93. I was so nervous about that game. So I text y'all and said, man, they better not blow this lead. Jabari Smith Jr. Led Houston with 22-7. LeBron had closeout opportunities. He didn't deliver. Kevin Durant is now going to miss. He's going to miss games 1, 3, 4, and 5 with his ankle-knee combo problems. He only played 1 game this series, right? But the Lakers still lead 3-2, so let's not forget that. But Houston's won 2 straight, and I'm not going to get too excited about that after going down 3-0. They played game 6 Friday right here in Houston. Lakers are facing a real game 7 talk for a team that was supposed to just roll over them, right? So, Matthew, if the Lakers blow this series,
Game
is
6.
this I mean, yeah, game 6. Well, no, I guess what I'm trying to say, if Houston win game 6,
Okay, okay,
real
I got you,
game, got you. But if the Lakers blow this series, is this JJ Redick's problem or a roster problem? And does Kevin Durant ever take the floor again this series?
No to that. And I think they already ruled him out for game 6. But I mean, the scuttlebutt is that, it's a bone bruise. So you're not coming back. It's going to take like a week. It's going to basically, the only way he comes back is if they win the series and get some time, then possibly coming back in round 2 against FTA and them Oklahoma City boys. And so that was just such a blown opportunity from the Lakers. I was watching that game last night.
Yeah.
And they had that point like in the mid fourth quarter where I want to say it was like 88-87 where they got it there. They were getting them turnovers. They were getting them dunks like LeBron.
Wasn't it like a 13-2 run or something? Or was it game or a different game?
No, there was a point where it was I want to say there was an 11-0 run because there was a point
11-0. Okay.
Where the Rockets took their biggest lead of the game at 13. Then the Lakers roared back. They had all the momentum. Reed Shepherd had just committed like a horribly dumb turnover. Then, Reed Shepherd just turned it on, man. And when he got that steal, and my issue with that steal, I'm so tired.
Yeah, he
of
picked
these
his cookies.
But I'm so tired of NBA guys like looking at the refs. That was one of the cleanest steals you'll ever see.
Yep.
And what does LeBron do? First thing he does is look at the referee. First thing, and it's like, if that's not a steal to LeBron, like one of the best players in NBA history, why even pretend that's a foul? Like,
why? I mean, that's how LeBron is. And look, and didn't Reed also hit like a deep, almost like logo type 3? I mean, he wasn't ready at half court, but he had a deep one that he dropped on him too.
I mean, it was really impressive the way he came back and went on his own personal little mini run to save the game. Yeah, because he almost cost them the game. So for the young fella to say, "Hey,
he
like
made up for it.
That was on me. Let me go get it back."
Get it back. Yeah,
it was impressive. And when you think about this series, and you think about Game 3, that historic choke job where like the Rockets were up 6, 20 something seconds to go. The Lakers weren't even trying to foul, and I believe it was Jabari Smith Jr., but whoever it was bringing the ball up and throwing it instead of just bringing the ball up himself past half court. At that point, the Lakers weren't even trying to foul. And I think they've done the record for how many teams have lost a game when they were up by 6 under 30 seconds to go in the playoffs. Yeah. And it was, I don't have an exact number for you, but it was something crazy, like 1 in 500, 1 in whatever.
Yeah.
And so you take away that historic choke job, and the Rockets are up 3-2 right now. Like, this series is much more competitive than it feels. And when you consider that KD's been out every game except for one, these young cats that KD was talking about on his burner have really stepped up. And I'll tell you the one I've been most impressed with, because I don't get a chance to watch him all that often. But Amen Thompson, man, I feel like he's really taken the leap. And now yesterday he made some 3-pointers, which isn't usually his game. So if he gets that going, then that's a whole other animal. But the way he can get to the bucket, like, I don't want to say at will, because there was a point yesterday where they kind of closed it off. But he gets to the bucket, not at will, but pretty well. And his low mid-range, it is a little saucy. I don't necessarily want him shooting that thing from 20 feet out, but he's got a lot of weapons, and he's not scared to make a play. If he doesn't have it at the bucket, he's pretty good at finding his teammates. I have been so impressed with Amen Thompson because, I don't watch a huge bunch of Rockets games, but I feel like whenever I come across Rockets Twitter, or Rockets social media platforms, I feel like all the fans are so negative about Amen that you forget about like how many people on the internet like don't know anything.
Yeah.
Myself included, but you really do forget that. And he's been incredible to watch this series. Really enjoyed it. Shingun's game frustrates me a little, but it's been effective. It's so slow, so you don't. It's hard to judge its impact, but what I've been trying to think about is, well, I wonder how Denver fans felt about Jokic when he first got there, and his game was a little different,
Right.
a little more cerebral, a little slower.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna hold my judgment on Shingun. He's had some pretty good games.
Right. And listen, Matthew, I don't know if we talked about this other day, but then we talk a little bit about whether Austin Reeves is going to be back or not.
Yeah,
And
we
he
talked
was,
about
and it didn't matter either, did it?
No,
The
it
key
didn't.
factor for the Lakers is really Luka. If Luka was back, this might have been a 4-0 sweep. But I thought with at least Austin and LeBron there, it was going to change the dynamics and win, but it didn't.
No, it didn't. I think he was limited. I know he got a bunch of free throws. I don't remember him making a shot most of the game.
Oh, no, Matthew. No, Matthew, let's do this. Because you always talk about FTA. I'll call him SGA. Bro, at one point, I don't think nobody was shooting more free throws than Austin Reeves. Man, as soon as he walked by and you blow on them, they were calling a foul. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I've never seen a guy go to the free throw line. He was beating prime 2019, 2020 James Harden going to the free throw line, beating SGA going through it. Austin Reeves, all you had to do, LeBron said, give him the ball and we're going to get the foul. We're going to the free throw line. You can't tell me this man don't go to the free throw line as much as those guys.
No, I agree. I don't like him when he does it. There's a few guys like this playoffs where it's like, man, I don't even want to watch them play when they're doing it. When not like their whole game, because these guys all know how to play basketball and they know how to play it at the highest level. But
right,
there's a few guys. SGA, we've brought him up many times. Austin Reeves for sure on the show. The one developing that I watched that Spurs Blazers series, Denny Avdia, man. Flop City, flopping around everywhere. And then the other one, even though he's the feel-good story because he's been leading the Knicks and they put a whipping on the Hawks, Jalen Brunson, he's on that list too. Those four guys are all free throw all the time. And it's crazy because you look at them and like, especially like an SGA, especially a Brunson, the talent's crazy on a Brunson. I watched him have his own personal like 8-0 run against the Hawks in game 5. So I just wish there was a way for the NBA to disincentivize these guys doing this. And obviously they're not focused on fouls right now. It seems like with the things we're hearing from the NBA, they're focused on tanking, maybe not fouls, but I wish there was a way to disincentivize these star players just constantly flopping, because every team has a player that does it now, and nobody wants to watch a free throw shooting contest, Sean.
Right. Absolutely. I definitely agree with you on that. All right, we're going to drop this.
Make sure you hit the new thanks button down below to donate to our YouTube channel so we can keep bringing you fresh content.
All right, Matthew. I know we didn't talk about last night. You probably said, Sean, we've got to talk about this guy every time. Well, it's well deserved. We're going to talk about Wemby and Fox, how they closed out Portland 4-1. Tuesday night's game 5 in San Antonio. I think I talked to you. I think you were somewhere downtown. I don't know where you're at, but you were talking about they ready to go. They had me nervous there for a minute, but they end up doing great, right? They beat the Blazers 114-95. They win the series 4-1. Wemby went, 17 points, 14 rebounds. Bro, 6 blocks. 6 blocks. That's including, that's not even a wow factor, right? That's just casual 6 blocks, right? Because does it really shock you at this point?
No, but those 6 blocks include the one that he got on Avdia near the end of the game. And I'm told that one still hasn't landed. The ball is still in the air. 2 days later, I'm being told it almost entered orbit. It didn't quite get high enough, and now they're expecting it to land somewhere over New Mexico. That ball went so far, and they were showing Wemby's dad the whole game, and he wasn't reacting to anything. But
this is normal. Dad's like, I've been seeing this my whole life.
But he reacted to that block. Everybody in the arena reacted to that block. So let me tell you this, Sean. because I missed the second half of that game because I wanted to get in good position to see how crazy downtown San Antonio got. So
Oh wow.
I left my house at halftime and I parked on I parked
Are
in
you by the Riverwalk?
So I parked kind of near the Riverwalk. I parked in a little neighborhood called King William because there's free parking there. And I knew there's not going to be a lot of free parking downtown. So I parked in the neighborhood. I walked to the spot on Commerce Street where historically people go honking every time the Spurs win. Yeah. Sean, when I say there were thousands of cars, everybody honking, there was a lot of reckless driving. So it was if you're not a fan of reckless driving, you might not have want to been out there. But there was a constant just boom, 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 just horns everywhere. And you know, Sean, there were so many people, it almost scared me for a second. And I thought to myself, if this is for the first round, I don't even want to be out here if they win the championship because it is going to be a riot out here. Because
they'll need like 5,000 cops downtown.
You would not believe they're going to need the National Guard, Sean. You know, they're going to need some prayers because you would not believe just how jam-packed it was downtown. I mean, this city loves the Spurs, and that's for me why I missed the second half of the game because I wanted to get down there and experience it with everybody and see
how did it feel? How did it feel while you're there? Could you feel the excitement? Could you feel the energy?
Oh man, you could feel this city feels like this is a team of destiny. But I'm gonna be real with you. After like 45 minutes, I was like, man, you stay too long. These things, nothing but trouble comes. I had to get out of there. Come like 45 minutes, I was starting to feel a little scared, man. I gotta get out of here. That guy's
driving. Get a little rowdy and crazy there.
Man, that guy's driving on the wrong side of the street. I'm getting out of here. I'm not gonna be on the news tomorrow.
Yeah, and look, Matthew. Not only that, but De'Aaron Fox dropped 21 and 9 assists, and I think that was his first playoff series win as a Spur, right?
I think that was his first playoff series win as an NBA player, De'Aaron Fox.
Oh,
because the Beam team, the Kings,
they never won. Yeah, they never won it.
They lost to the Warriors in the first round. The Beam team, the famous team. Yeah, and so De'Aaron Fox, year 9, first series. All it took was coming down to San Antonio. Joining forces with Wemby.
Wait a minute. Has it been 9 years?
He's in year 9.
No way.
Fox,
hold on.
Your boy.
Hold on.
Hey,
it can't be that long.
We can do the math right now. We can pull it up right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I think this is year. Year 9. This is a year 9, Sean. 100%. I got to pull it up.
8 seasons has been the NBA 8 season, beginning his career 27, 2018. I can't believe it's been that long.
Been that long. All the talent in the world. Finally gets his first playoff win. And look, what you love, like if you're the Spurs, is that look how efficient Wemby was. He only took 7 shots and was a plus 20. Everybody was getting it done. 17 from Dylan Harper, 15 from Stephon Castle. Man, let me mention.
What about Julian? How do you say that guy's name?
Champagny.
Champagny. He had 19.
He's stretching the floor for us. You put him out there at the 4, and you got this big fella that can hit the 3 and defend on the other side. When he's playing good, I mean, this is a dangerous team. You got to think for most of the season we had Barnes slotted into that role, and at some point after when Barnes got injured, they moved Champagny into that spot, and that's what you call good coaching. That's why Mitch Johnson, I think they said Bickerstaff won Coach of the Year, and now his Pistons are down, 3-2 in the first round. Man, it should have been Mitch Johnson because you take an established veteran like Harrison Barnes out of the starting lineup, but you plug in Champagny, and it turns out that Champagny on any given night is giving you 6 and 9, 5 of 7 from 3, 19 points. I mean, the splits from the starters are beautiful because none of them took more than 14 shots. None of them took less than 7, and they all scored in double digits. That's sharing the sugar, brother.
Right. And then on top of that, let's look here. All right. Well, all right. So what about this? So I think when I did some research, I think this is San Antonio's first playoff series win since 2017. That was the last Kawhi Pop run that they had, right? The Spurs now sit and wait for the Wolves versus the Nuggets that we talked about earlier. Somewhere between May 2nd through the 4th, right? Now, if Denver do win a hobble against a hobbled Timberwolves, right? And make
Wolves.
The Wounded Wolves. So Wemby versus Jokic.
I
If
don't
Denver
want that.
pulls it off, would that be a must-watch TV? Wemby versus a healthy-ish, or Wemby versus a healthy-ish type Wolves team? Would that be just as fun?
We don't want Jokic. We want the wounded Wolves. I'm not even entertaining the idea that we might have to play Denver because Denver played us good. Look, that last game of the season, you could take a little bit of heat off of that because Wemby didn't play. But that second to last game they played about a week and a half before the regular season, that meant a lot to both teams. I mean, Denver took our best punch, came back, beat us in OT. Jokic hit one of the iconic shots. A Denver team that has come back from a 3-1 series, that has willed themselves back into the playoffs, that still, the core still has the championship pedigree. You could talk all day about how there's no bench depth, but there's guys on that team that know how to win. As a Spurs fan, now, I think there's been different points of this year where the Nuggets have looked horrible. I would still pick the Spurs to win that series, although I'm biased, as I say here today. But I think, that has all the makings of a series that takes you 6 or 7. That takes a lot of that energy you're going to need when you see OKC in the third round, because I think I can say with pretty full confidence that OKC is going to beat the winner of LA and the Rockets. And the fact that LA can't close out Houston up 3-0, the fact that if Houston wins, they'll have taken all that emotional energy just to come back and win, and you still might not have KD. And OKC, well rested, 4 games and done, baby. They ready for whoever's next. So I feel pretty confident that it's going to be OKC in the conference championship. And if you have to go against Denver, even though they look, a little sorry at different points of this series, they're going to put you through, the ringer to get it. And so the game's just starting right now. And Sean, Sean, I'm turning this thing off at 9 because I'm gonna go watch that.
I know.
And I'm gonna be
checking it out.
I'm gonna be rooting for my wounded Wolves. So come on, wounded Wolves, come on.
Yeah,
man.
if we look right now, Knicks went ahead and closed out a series 148-89. Right now, 76ers are up 74-61. I mean, it looks like they might tie the series up 3-3. Man, I'm gonna hop off and check that out also. Let's hit this real quick.
Make sure you hit the new thanks button down below to donate to our YouTube channel so we can keep bringing you fresh content.
All right, I'm just going to drop one more. We had a couple more topics, but we're just going to end with this because we definitely want to go check out that game in the Nuggets versus the Wolves. The last topic, the Orlando Magic. Listen, only 6 times in NBA history, Matthew, has an 8 seed beaten the number 1 seed. The last time was 2023, the Heat over the Bucks, right? Magic still lead the Pistons 3-2, even after Cade's 45 points in game number 5, right? Detroit went 60-22 in the regular season. Best record in the East. Gone in 6 would be one of the biggest upsets of the decade, like we talked about the other day. The Pistons franchise hasn't won a playoff series since 2008. And they're trying to break that with a Game 6 road win with that and a Game 7 home win, right? Paolo, like I said, is playing the best basketball of his career, 45 in Game 5 alone. 6 of 8 first-round series, Matthew. 6 of 8 first-round series have gone to at least Game 6. First time that's happened since 2014. As a matter of fact, I saw something, was it today or yesterday? It said this is the most viewed NBA playoffs in history that's been going on. And just when you think the popularity NBA kind of might get stale, man, you got new rookies of the year like Cooper Flag, DeCon Knipples. You got people just stepping up. I mean, it's more exciting. It's growing more internationally, right? More international players are coming to America, making it even more exciting. But listen, the Pistons, if they go down number 8 seed, is that on JB Bickerstaff, on Cade not closing or not closing one of those first 3 games? Or does Paolo, is he just unguardable right now? And does this stop the Pistons as contenders narrative for next year?
Man, if you lose in the first round, then I think, everybody puts you on fraud alert the next year. Ooh. So when you're the 1 seed, and you win, the first round, maybe you win the second round, whatever the case may be. And I'm trying to find 17, 18. Okay. I'm trying to find this because the last time I remember a coach of the year getting fired was Dwayne Casey in Toronto, lost in the first round.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Not lost in the first round, lost in the second round. So it'd be pretty embarrassing for the coach of the year.
Yeah, Bickerstaff. Yep.
Bickerstaff, because it's saying like I was the coach of the year in the regular season, but then when it mattered, I couldn't win four ball games. I could win 60 ball games when it don't matter. It deflates the energy.
Right.
People don't feel the same way because they don't even feel like you have something to build on. What do we have to build on? A first round exit? Like this was a monster all year. Because in the next year, nobody's scared of you. Like everybody's going right at you and punching you in the mouth because they say, "Oh, well, look what Orlando did in the playoffs." So I think it's almost impossible. It would be almost impossible for Detroit to be considered legitimate next year if they lose in the first round. Granted, they're a 3.5 point favorite to beat the Magic on Friday in Orlando. So you got to get the job done because, I mean, that's so embarrassing that I don't think you fire the coach just for losing in the first round. And he obviously had a great year. But maybe you start looking to move pieces around. Maybe you say, okay, Asar Thompson, is one of the best defenders in the world. But when we needed him to make a free throw, he wasn't there in the game. Jalen Duren, young emerging all-star. And, it's crazy because I heard so much every time the Kings or the Spurs play the Pistons. And this has been like this for a couple years now. Any team I'm watching that's been playing the Pistons, everybody just raves about Jalen Duren and how good he is, how how generational of a talent he is. And if they're going out in the first round in a series where he's averaging like 10 and 8, I mean, that's going to look terrible moving forward. That's going to be, you're going to get to a territory where, how do we get some pieces for this guy? Because obviously the dynasty starts after him. And so I think you could quiet the whispers and you could go into your offseason feeling a lot better if you could at least win this series. But I think a lot of people are going to have a hard time seeing the Pistons getting past Boston if they make it that far in the third round. And I think even more than that, people are going to have a hard time seeing the Pistons getting through Cleveland, even assuming Cleveland gets past Toronto. So, but they can save themselves a lot of embarrassment and probably save like half the roster from being traded if they can win tomorrow as 3-point favorites and then close it out in Game 7.
Got you. All right. So, Matthew, we're going to end it with this. I'm going to hit you with that quick one-liner, and you're going to fire back. All right?
Okay.
The Wolves, did they close out Game 6 tonight at home without Ant? Yes or no?
I pray that they do. My brain tells me no.
All right. Will the Celtics, so we already, let's see, what's the score right now with it's 76-61. Sixers got the lead. Still 3 minutes in the third. The Celtics, did they close out the 76ers in Philly? Yes or no?
I am going to say they lose tonight and win in a couple days in Boston.
All right. Cade Cunningham versus Paolo. Who's the better player after this series ends?
Oh, Cade Cunningham by far. Even if Orlando wins. Because I think what Cade has shown is that the whole Pistons live and die with him. That if he's having a bad game, the Pistons are having a bad game. And I think he's a lot more valuable to his team than Paolo is to his team. So I'm picking Cade, win or lose.
All right. Lakers were up 3-0. Will they blow that 3-0 lead? Yes or no? Will they lose the series?
I think they'll lose Game 6. Then I think they'll blow them out in Game 7 in front of the LA fans.
All right. And last question. Most likely upset of round 1 still in play. Magic over Pistons, Rockets over Lakers, or Nuggets over Wolves? What would be most likely upset round 1?
I don't think you can consider Nuggets over Wolves an upset just because how many injuries the Wolves have.
The injuries now.
So, and plus the Nuggets were the favorite at the beginning of the series. So I'm going to say of the two that I consider would be real upsets, I'm going to say most likely is Magic over Pistons.
Over Pistons. Yep, that's exactly what I say. All right, there you have it, man. Listen, we want to thank everybody for coming on tonight, man. We're having a blast. Matthew, are you enjoying the NBA playoffs?
Man, I'm enjoying it so much. I think this is one of the better playoffs like in years. I think the product, the quality is so high. And you know how I know it's high? Because all these NFL dudes that talk about NFL over NBA all the time, I'm having to hear all their stupid basketball hot takes. So I know everybody's watching basketball right now.
Yeah. Matthew, you want me to tell you real quick before you get, you know why I think people are really enjoying it? I think it took people a minute to get over um it took people a minute to get over the Warriors, Cleveland, Warriors late. You know, it took a while for them to get over that whole dynasty and dominating, right? Not to say the last 4 or 5 years it hasn't been switched up, but people are actually accepting the fact that the dynasty is gone with those groups and we're getting a fresh crop of young talent, and it's just exciting again. Because let's be honest, what was that record stat that LeBron had? He went like 9 out of 10 times or so. It was something crazy, right? Like people were getting tired of seeing the same people over and over in the finals. Do you think now that that dynasty is dead and gone, that people are really starting to get back into it again because of that? It's like new people almost every year.
I think they're going to start getting tired once again when the Spurs start their dynasty. So if they don't like dynasties, that's too bad because Wemby and them boys got something for them.
So you think that the Spurs and them going to get past SGA?
I think they're going to be the underdog, but if I'm picking it, I'm picking Spurs in 4, baby. No. I think they're going to win the series, though.
All right, got you. All right, listen, we want to thank everybody for coming out. Hey, Monday, we'll get a chance. We'll check out our we'll check out the comment section. Make sure you leave your comments, everything down below. As you know, me and Matthew, we will read it. Matthew will comment back to you, and he will tell you, be nice. What do you tell him, Matthew?
I tell him, be nice, unlike them Portland boys that got sent home the other day.
Yeah. Look, and I want to end it with this also, Matthew. When I went on TikTok live right before this, right? And during the time I was watching Atlanta Hawks getting blown up by Knicks. And I told everybody in the comment section, I said, I don't know what it was, but Matthew, remember when we're at the play-in and all that in the beginning, we're giving like some good hopes and positive vibes to Atlanta. You know, maybe they might do something this little young staff. But wasn't it, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't it even Atlanta's own Hawks people? They were just like bashing them. I can't believe that this is your own people. But they knew something we didn't know.
I've never seen anything like that. Every time we diss a team, all their fans get in here and say, we don't know basketball. But anytime we say something nice about Atlanta, all their fans were commenting, oh, you don't know our team. We're going to fold. We're terrible. I've never seen a fan base hate their team more than the Atlanta Hawks fans hated this year's squad.
And Matthew, they were right. As I was on TikTok live show, I'm like, y'all were right. Y'all knew something about the Atlanta Hawks that we just didn't know. We're just trying to encourage them, uplift them like they're a young squad. Like they made it this far. They're like, y'all don't know what you're talking about. Atlanta sucks. Don't ever vote for them. We're never going to be nothing. I was like, geez. But Matthew, they proved us wrong.
They did. And it's crazy because I think Atlanta's got a lot of good pieces. I think they're a good team. But obviously, you know, you watch a team 82 games, you know their strengths, you know their weaknesses. But for whatever reason, our video got in the algorithm of Atlanta fans that hate their own team.
There you have it. Listen, we want y'all to check us back out on Monday. Me and Matthew will be back. Hopefully we can get a third co-host, Eric, on there. Eventually we'll get him on here. I don't know. Listen, man, tell Wemby when you talk to him, get some rest. Let him know you'll be ready to check him out next week or this weekend, whenever they're going to play. And send up prayers for the Houston Rockets. We need everything we can tomorrow.
Wounded Wolves, please. Wounded Wolves.
All right, till next time. Me and Matthew.